Helena's Don't Ask, Don't Tell has made its way back into the national spotlight. We have exclusive coverage on how the Rapid City Police Department outed Staff Sergeant Jene Newsome at Ellsworth Air Force Base. EAS airports are much smaller than the ones of like Rapid City. An official at Ellsworth couldn't go on camera regarding the story. A Toledo man is in jail this weekend, accused of firing more than 40 shots at police officers. Even though it's nowhere near the peak of tourist season, people from all over the world are still coming to see Mount Rushmore. Last November, police went to Newsome's Rapid City home to serve an out-of-state warrant on Cheryl Hudson, who also lived at the house. When police couldn't find Hudson, they called Newsome at Ellsworth for help.
I got several phone calls from an officer from Rapid City asking me to come home.
After delaying for several hours, Newsome finally arrived home to find the police and Hudson inside. Since Newsome wasn't wanted for anything, you would think her involvement was over.
Other than them trying to get me to help them out, there was nothing whatsoever that I wasn't involved with it at all.
But police noticed an Iowa marriage certificate showing the two women were married. And despite the fact that marriage had nothing to do with the arrest, Officer Jeremy Stoffaker and Detective Tom Geringer sent that information to the Air Force, causing the service to discharge Newsome for violating the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy on gay military people.
He informed me that he seen a marriage certificate supposedly on the kitchen table, and he said that he knew how the military worked and he'd let OSI handle that.
Newsome believes that police did this as payback because she didn't help them arrest her wife. Chief of Police Steve Allender told me that he wasn't going to hash out the details of the complaint on television, claiming it was between the department and Jene Newsome.
When a member of the Air Force is involved in an incident, we have a long-standing policy to report those occurrences to the Air Force Office of Special Investigations.
For Alderman Sam Quaker, Tuesday night was spent on the defense.
You've been sitting in judgment of me all the time I've been your colleague.
At a censure hearing centering around thousands of dollars worth of rapid transit flyers, an expenditure Quaker says prompted him to send a series of emails to Transit Director Rich Sagan. Emails Quaker says were never harassing or menacing.
All the factual allegations you've made in that resolution that are proposed were made without the benefit of reviewing those emails.
But Sagan disagrees, calling the string of more than 1,000 messages over a 2-year time period a clear case of harassment.
Email has been my primary form of professional communication.
And that complaint stirred a full-on investigation by the city, costing more than $17,000. Finally, after hours of testimony and questions, the council voted 6-3 to censure Quaker, a decision that brings strong opinions from both sides.
Roused citizenry can be a very strong, formidable force for good, and you may not be voted back into office the next time around by promoting this proposal of censure.
There is no face-to-face. He's only doing partial of his job, not the full job. And I believe in this censure.
I'm partial when I vote for you. I expect you to be partial, not unfair.
A censure amounts to a verbal warning or a reprimand from city council members, an acknowledgement that he violated the rules. Still, Quaker maintains he was just doing his job. Jene Newsome served 9 years in the Air Force with a spotless record.
It's crazy, you know, it's like 9 years. It was a long, long haul deployment. Dedication, but I planned on making a career.
But her military career came to an abrupt end, all because of an out-of-state arrest warrant for her wife, Cheryl Hudson, and a visiting police officer who noticed a piece of paper on the kitchen table.
And he informed me that he seen a marriage certificate supposedly on the kitchen table, and he said that he knew how the military worked and he'd let OSI handle that.
Retaliation, Newsome says, because she believes the officer found her to be uncooperative in investigating her wife. Soon after the officer's promise, she was discharged from the military.
I feel like my privacy was violated.
Even though an official at Ellsworth couldn't go on camera regarding the story, Don't Ask, Don't Tell has been a policy for the past 16 years and has been gaining national headlines over the past few months.
I think that is a very strong starting point for a process that the president believes will end in rightly overturning that law.
And a recent military poll shows active duty service members are more accepting of allowing gays to serve openly. Newsome says there is still a long way to go, and every step they take to repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell is a step closer to equality.
There's the point where you just can't do it anymore. Even though I was still going to continue to do it, it's still, you know, it's kind of a good and a bad thing, the whole discharge.
Because now Newsome and her wife can live without the constant fear that the knowledge of their relationship will end her career. Matthew Horn, Coda Territory News.